Hi viewers, so as we promised in the previous video that we would do an online session on KoBO, this is the final version of that needs assessment study tool on KoBO, where you can share this link with anyone and he or she can enter the data here and then submit it to you, and you will find it in your computer already entered in MS Excel. So all these questions which we discussed in our need assessment study video tutorial, the link is given in the description if you have not watched that video. So this is that tool that we developed in the KoBO. How we did it? So let's start with the session on KoBO. First of all, you should know that what KoBO is. KoBO is basically a toolbox, an online data collection tool, a simple, robust, and powerful tools for data collection, in which you build forms, collect data, analyze data, whether online or offline. So, the benefit of KoBO is that if you have a tool and you want your enumerators or the staff to collect data online, with to save data entry time. So for that you develop KoBO Toolbox. It is a simple data collection tool, and the field team can use that on their mobile or on a tablet or on a laptop, and they can collect data even if there is no internet. That would not be any issue when they enter all the forms in the field. So when they come to office or to a place where they have access to internet, so they can sync their data and that would be readily available. So we will go step by step. First of all, let's start with creating account in the KoBO. Now when you go to the KoBO website, this is kobotoolbox.org. It's a free platform to develop online data collection tools on which you can collect data. There are some other such ODKs also, for example, ComCare, Survey CTO, but those are not free of cost. For that, you have to pay a lot of money. And KoBO is totally free, and it's for the humanitarian organizations and development sector to use this tool and obtain a clean data, because in this KoBO toolbox you will see there would be data validation rules, drop down menus, skip logic, and all that we are going to discuss. So when you open this website, you will see here below this one. There are two options: unlimited use for humanitarian organization, and there is another option for researcher and aid workers and everyone else. So we mostly use this one because here you have unlimited submissions, unlimited data storage, and unlimited projects you can use free of cost. So you will have to create your account. If you already have an account, so for that you need to just press login. When you are creating accounts, so you must remember that for each study you should create a separate account, because you will need to share that link and the password of that account with the enumerators or those who would be collecting the data. So for that reason you should be using a separate account for each study, because if you are using the same account, so these forms, there can be a conflict of different forms for the enumerators are those who collect the data. So let's create the account. When you click create an account, so this page will open, and here you see you will have to enter your name, organization name, username. So here in this username, you should try to use the name of the study. For example, if you are conducting a need assessment, so you should just name that needs assessment, so that you may remember that name also. And when you share with the staff members to sync their mobile or their tablet or laptop with this tool, so that would be very easy for them. Username is totally for that study. Email, here you can enter your own email. Sector, mostly if you can select your relevant sector from here. And then there is a country, so you should select your country. Gender, and then password. Here you will have to enter the required password, and here you can just confirm and then create account. After clicking this button, you will receive an email from KoBO uh, on the email that you have entered here. So you will have to go to your email and verify the email address also. Once you verify that, then you just need to come to this place where you see the login page. And here, for example, I have already created the account needs assessment, and you just log in here. When you are logged in, so here, this is the uh, front page of the KoBO Toolbox. Here you see this place. This is your account setting. You can do, you can change the language and log out. But if you look at this section here, it says new. If you are developing a new form, so you will have to click this new button. If you have already deployed a form, so it would be visible here. If you have already developed a form but not deployed, that would be here in the draft. And if you have completed an assignment and the tool is no more collecting any data, so that would be here in the archive folder. Now, since we are starting from the scratch, so here I will start from new. When you click new, it says you want to build from scratch, or you want to use a template, or you want to upload an XLS form, or you want to import an XLS form via any URL. So build from the scratch, when you want to start to, to develop your tool from the start, so you just need to click here. If you want to use their template, so then this place is relevant for you. If you want to upload an XLS form, what is this XLS form? It's a very advanced level learning, so I will explain that in another session because it needs a lot of time. This is the XLS form. Here we have, if you want to build the form in the Excel and then just upload to KoBO, so you will have to create 3 sheets: survey, choices, and settings. And how it works, that I will explain later when you learn how to develop the tool in the KoBO. So you will understand why these types and names and label and hints are required. So this is the simple XLS form. Now let's create from the scratch. Enter title of the project. So we are conducting a needs assessment. Needs assessment study. I have already developed this, so I will use two just to avoid duplication. Enter the description of the form. If you want to add some descriptions for the enumerators, so you can add here all the description. Sector, which sector is this, so you can just select from here for which sector you are developing this form. If you don't select anything, that would also work, but if you select, so it would give you the relevant choices. And country as must, you should select your country. Now you just need to create project. And here you, if you want to help KoBO Toolbox improve this product by sharing the sector and country, so you just click here. And if you don't want, you just go and create the project. Front page. Okay, so here we are to create our form. You see this plus button, it's to add your question. This form is currently empty, so you can add question, notes, prompts. So what type of fields are there, what type of questions you can add, so we will discuss now in detail. And you will see there are a lot of options for you. Click the plus button, and here you see what is your first question. So if you remember the tool that we developed, let me open that. So this was our tool. Now let's start from here. We don't need the database number to be there in the tool because we don't need that. Here you just village. You start from the village because database number I would give that later in the Excel sheet. So here you see village. So I have added village, or you can say name of village from which the data is being collected. Now I am adding this question. When I am adding the question, it gives me a lot of field types, that what type of field you want for this. Select one, decimal, point, line, area, calculate. There are many options and we would be discussing each one. But for the time being, for the village, if you need simple text, that they should write the village name. And if the names of those villages are not that much, very few villages, so you can use drop down, and they can select from the drop down also. So for that you will need to select this option, select one. Select one means it would be a drop down and they would be selecting one. But if the number of villages is more than thousands and you don't want to upload such a huge list to the drop down, so then you just come and just click text ABC. But my villages are only 8 villages, so I am going to add this select one. Now in option 1, what was the village name? So you can write them here. So I added my first question, name of the village, because in the database my first question was this one. I do not need this database number. Then district. So for district also I would select this, add another question, district. And for district also I need select one. Select one means drop down. If you have only 3 4 5 districts, so you can add them here also, direct shower, all those districts which you need, you can add them here and it would be visible to the enumerator in the drop down. Now I am adding another question, and another question is name of beneficiary. Name of beneficiary, and this should be not select one, it should be text column, a text field. Whatever the name of the person is, that should be entered here. So I am selecting text. Okay, and side by side you should be doing this thing also in the setting. We are not going into the detail of setting because you would get confused, but in the setting you must select here, click for each question setting, and then select mandatory response. If you want that this question must be responded and it is mandatory, so then you must select this one. Otherwise by default it's like no. So you should select this side by side. There are some other options also, skip logic, validation criteria, that we would be doing later. Now simply we are going with the tool development. Name of beneficiary. After name of beneficiary I need father spouse name, so I would just select here father or spouse name. Don't use those slashes etc in the field names, because then it would create a lot of problems later on. And this father spouse name should also be a simple text column. Now the next question is gender. So here I would select gender and add question, and for gender I need select one drop down, and here in the drop down I will just write the options male, female, and we should add other r if someone do not want to to mention that, so you can select prefer not to say also. Then the next question is, and side by side go to setting and make it mandatory, and then close. Go to setting and make each question mandatory and then close. Okay, and side by side you should also be using this button, this save button, this one, so that your form is saved. Now after gender I need ID card. Now ID card, for ID card this is ID. Okay, and now for ID card I need also again a text column, or it can be a number column also, but an ID card there might be dashes or without dashes, so we should use for such type of field a text column. And later on you can apply some validations for dashes and length of characters etc. So this is the ID column. And make it mandatory. Setting and mandatory response, yes. Now after ID card, I need contact number. So that would be contact number would also be a text one because there might be dashes or you can add that to a number also, but this number is only for those columns or those fields where you want to calculate things. For example, number of people in the family, for that only. So here also you should use the text and then you can apply that validation. Then the next one is nationality. So here you can add nationality, and in the nationality that would also be select one, a drop down, and that can be Pakistani or other nationalities that you are expecting among the beneficiaries. You should write them, or if you want to keep it open, then you should select the text column. Now the next question after nationality, what we need here, we need the it's vertically aligned. Let me make them horizontal so that it's visible properly. Now we need male, number of male members of that household whose age is 18 to 60. So you can just copy that and say number of male between 18 to 16, and copy this same question, and here you would need the number format. Okay, this would here you would need the number format. Add another question, and here you need now number of female. I already copied it, and here also number. Then after that you need boys and girls 0 to 17. So here you should say boys and girls. So number of boys between 0 to 17, and just copy this and add this field type to number because it would be age in years, and here you should say number of girls between 0 to 17, and that should also be number. Now these four are number columns. You can make a group of these four questions also, a separate section. You can add a separate section for these question also, and you can name that section overall as a number of family members, etc. For example, this is the button for creating a group with selected question. So I am selecting this question, this one. You can select many with control. I have selected 1, 2, 3, 4 question, and I am just assigning a group to them. Create a group. And what is the name of this group? It is number of family members. And you need to add another question also here, and that is for number of other person above 60. Number of other persons above 60, and it's only one time, not for male and female. So if you want to add male female among this category also, so you can add that, no issue, and this would also be a number. So this portion is completely for the number of family members. Now after this I need total family size, so I do not need to ask this question. We do not need. It should be a two, and when the data is extracted in the Excel, so you can add this column and just add a sum formula. It is a rule also in data that when something can be extracted with formula, so you should not be asking those questions. Total family size is the sum of these five, so no issue. You don't need that. We can add that later on in the Excel. So number of other person question is also done. Now PWD, sorry, there are this question should also come here. PWDs, and that should also be a number. Or you can add hint here also, that please provide the number of all male members whose age is between 18 to 60. So you can add these hints here also. Now if you want to add another question in this group, so you would need to press this plus button. But if you want to go out of this group now, so then this plus button. Now you are out of the group. Now I need this question. If rented house, average rent of the house per month. This is my question, okay? Now here, what is the type? This should be a number. You should say 50,000, 30,000, 20,000. So it should be a, okay. If rented house, average rent of the house per month. Now here, if you want to apply some more validation, because it's a number and a rent, so here you can do that. First, mandatory response should be selected, and then in the validation criteria, you can add that average rent of the house per month. For example, if you say that if someone's average rent of the house is more than 20,000, so why should I be collecting data from that person? Because he is already paying a lot on the rent, so he would not need a support. So you can add such conditions here, that this question's response has to be greater than or equal to greater than or equal to no, or lesser than or equal to 20,000. So what would happen when they would be entering, if someone say that my rent of the house is 50,000, so this field would not accept that. Anyhow, if rented house question, now the next question is average monthly amount of the bill. So add another question, and it should also be a number. And go to the settings and always mark mandatory response. Family head occupation, source of livelihood. What is the source of livelihood? So here they would be selecting a specific type of job: shopkeeper, labor, teacher, engineer, or something like that. So here that this question, the response, the field response should be a text, open text. And if you know all the occupation and you have already developed a list, so then you can add that in the another criteria, which was this one. Select one. If you don't know, keep it open with the ABC format. Now the next question: family size more than or equal to 0. Now onward, the responses of this question is only yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. So the simple method is select the question, and for all of these questions now you would be selecting one. Selecting one what? Yes, no. You can add don't know or other also, but we just need yes, no. So this question is yes, no. You can duplicate also this question. Yeah, you see after the setting there is delete, and after the delete button there is duplicate. When you duplicate it, you can just go then and add another question, because the responses are same. So you just need to add that. That would also be yes, no, and then duplicate again, and then add this one, and similarly go on adding these question. And at the last, you would need data collected by column. So here you would need a date column, data collected by. Here also you can use select one and add the names of the staff. For example, you already have in this Excel sheet names of all the staff members, so you can add from them as a drop down, or you can write them here on date on which data submitted. Now this one, if you want the enumerator to fill it, so you should add it. Otherwise, the KoBO software will automatically be collecting the dates and time of the data collection. So you won't need it. But if you want to the enumerator to add a date, so here you would need then to apply a field format date. This is the date format. So here they would this field would by default show them a calendar and they would be selecting the dates. So this is the form. Now you just save it, click this button or this I button for preview. You can preview this form. You will see now here a preview. See, name of village, district, name of beneficiary. You see this asterisk, it means that this we have selected mandatory. But if you have not selected for some, so you should go there and apply the mandatory response option. Gender, you see there are these options available in the drop down: ID, contact number, and those nationality. And now you see there is a specific group for number of family members. So here they can write numbers, whatever number is there. So because it's a number field, so you have already those buttons also. And family size, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, all those, and then date. So for that, they would see a calendar and validate. When they validate, you would receive the response. Now you need to come here, return to the list. Now your form is here in the draft. You see here, it's in the draft. When you develop a form, so it is usually saved in the draft. Now what you need to do, if it is final and you want the data collection to be started, so you must deploy this form. Click and you would see draft 0 and deploy 2, because I have already created one form, so there is this 2. This is your form, it is deployed. Now if later on you do some changes in the form, so you would need to redeploy it and inform the enumerator that please get the form again. I will tell you that in the mobile session just after this when we complete this one. So you have deployed the form, you are ready, and now let's see what we have options here. Here you can collect data, select online, offline, multiple submission. You are choosing this because you say that it might be with internet or without internet, so you should and you must always choose this online, offline, because whether there is internet or not, they would be able to enter the data. Now how to share with them a link so that they may start the data collection and data entry in the form. It's here in this form tab. When you click your form, you come here in the form tab, and this is copy. Copy the link and just paste it in an email or in a WhatsApp group and send it to them. But there are some challenges here. You should know that. When you copy this, so it would give you this type of link. You will see now. This is the link. Okay. Now anyone who open or click this tab, a browser will open and they can enter the form. But on the browser and in the computer. But for mobile, they would need to change this EE. They would just need to change this EE with KC. So the best option is you create two links here. One with EE for those who using computer and one with KC. And this information, when it gives you the link, so this information becomes valid for the computer and browser, but for mobile, you just change EE with KC. And here, what was the name of the form we selected? That was needs assessment. So you would need this for mobile. Now, I will select this and will send it to all those who are collecting data with mobile. Now, what they will have to do to open the ODK form. So let's discuss that first. remember that we have sent them this link. Okay, now here they would need to go to the app store. This is the app store. Here you just type kobo collect and you will see in the drop down. Just install it. When the installation completes, so open. When you open the kobo, so you will see these two options. One is configure with QR code and the other is manual. If you have the QR code, so do it that way. If you don't have, then use the manual method. And how is done that? Just click the manual method. Here you see URL. So if you remember, for laptop, I said that it should be with EE humanitarian response.info and the same link that you would copy. And for Android and Apple, it would start with the KC and then after the slash name of the username that you have already created. So that must be remember. So here in the URL, they will need to paste that URL that you have already sent them, the one that start with Casey dot humanitarian response slash the user name that you have already created for that study. For example, we created needs assessment. So here we would need to use that needs assessment or whatever name you have already given to that username. It depends. We have used need assessment, so they will write that. But you should send them the complete name for laptop and for mobile, as I showed you. I will show you that again also when this mobile tutorial is finished. And now here the username. The username is that same one which you have written above after the slash. And here you need to add password. Now these password also you should send them along with that. And after that just update, they should update it so that it's saved with them. Now they will see this interface here, the git blank form. I should select the git blank form and here you can see that need assessment study link is there. Select and click the git link below, git link. And after that they should just go to the fill blank form whenever they are going to enter a form. So they should go to fill blank form, then need assessment study form, and then you see name of beneficiary and village and all those fields would be appearing and they would be entering, clicking the next and submitting the information for each beneficiary. So a very simple way. If you didn't get it, you can rewind this video or you can comment and we can share further details also. So here they would be writing all those details of the, this is for the data collection team. And here you can see different fields are appearing and just at the end they can submit. Now this is that Kobo on their mobile. So fill blank form whenever they need to enter a form, edit saved form if they have already filled a form and want to edit something, send finalized form when they complete all the entries, then they would send, view send form, get blank form. If you redeploy a form, so you would need to inform them to get the form again from here. And if you have not redeployed, so they don't need. But if you have done it, so they should come again. And if you have uploaded another form, so they can have that in this section also. But now we are going with that need assessment simple study form. So this is the simple method to get it, and then they don't need to come to this get blank form. They just need to open the blank form and do the required entry of the household. Each time they would need for each household to come to the fill blank form and enter the form here. And if they have already entered a form, so it would be visible in the edit saved form and the send final edit. So you can edit a form here, and if there is any error or mistake, so you can edit that, but that should be done before sending. And when you finish with editing, so you just go back, save or ignore, and go to the send finalized form, select all those form you have entered and send selected. Then you would see this progress, and when it says successful submission, press OK. But when it says successful, if they have sent all those forms, so when you come here to the summary, you will see here one form has been submitted, as we did in the mobile session. So one form has been submitted, and you can see here that there were total 28 questions, and this modification has been done. And from where you will get those form data, come to the data tab. Here you see that form has been submitted for that specific person. You can do the editing here also, but if they have submitted hundreds of form, so then it would not be possible. So this is the data tab here. This is the table. Here you can see a report on that data, how many forms have been submitted. And if you want to extract those forms into Excel, so you will need to come here, download, to the download, select export type. What type? XLS, CSV. So usually we do it with XLS, Excel form. CSV is also an Excel. And then press export. When you press export, you will see a link here. This one, it's processing. So the first export has been recorded here. Whenever you would be doing exporting, it will record all those exports here, and from here you then just need to download, and you press the download, so you will see the Excel sheet here in the left bottom corner. Click it, and when you click that Excel sheet, it will open, and here you see all those fields that you have already assigned, and this start and end date has been generated by the computer. Okay, and this is the device ID from which this form has come. And now here you see name of beneficiary, name of village, gender, ID card, contact number, and you will see here all the forms those have been submitted, and here you will also see who has submitted the form if he or she has written their name. And after this column, these are also computer generated tabs just for you to see the submission time, the submission date, and other details. And if you have also added a question for the longitude and latitude coordinates, so those would also be available here. How we add those? So for that you need to see the edit form first. Here for example, if you want to collect coordinates of a specific place also, so for that you would need to, in the add question, you will need to select this point, record your current location. So it would be recording their location, that from where this form was submitted. So you can add this type of question for tracking the actual, there might be an issue if someone is filling the form from his or her home. So you can add this field just to track the locations, that whether they have collected the form really from that village or not. But that depends. So this is simply KoBO, how to generate the form, and then how to collect the data, and review the responses from the people they have interviewed, and from summary you can see the overall summary. From form you can do the redeployment, and then again sending a link. This is the place form. From here you can copy and send the link, but as I told you that you should be sending them for laptop this type of link, the one that you copied from here, it's for laptop. But for mobile, you just need to copy that, paste below, and replace this EE with KC, and this place with the username that you have used for mobile and Android. This is the simple solution for that. अगर आपको अच्छा लगे ये वीडियो तो प्लीज़ अपने कमेंट शेयर करें। अगर आपके कुछ क्वेश्चंस हो तो प्लीज़ रिस्पॉन्ड करें। मैं आपको टेक्स्ट या दूसरे वीडियो से ज़रूर रिस्पॉन्स दूंगा। और इस चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करें ताकि आपको इस तरह के वीडियोस आगे मिलते जाए। थैंक यू सो मच।